3. Oops. I think we already started. What? Is there a lag?
Yay! Welcome.
Live.
Everyone is here. Bill's here. Mikey's here. I am here, and we are live. Good
hello,
evening,
guys.
afternoon, morning, wherever you are in this crazy, silly world. Welcome to another live stream. It's been a long time coming, but we are here, and today we have China Uncle Mikey and China Bill on the stream, as well as myself. So once again, welcome, guys. I hope you're going to enjoy today's show. We're going to talk about advantages and disadvantages in China as a Chinese person or as a foreigner. But before we jump into that, let's do a short introduction. Let's start with our regular guest, China Uncle Mikey. How you doing today, Mikey? You okay?
Should I do the introduction once again? Yes, hello, guys.
Sure.
This is China Uncle Mikey. And I'm a Shanghai YouTuber. I'm recently staying in Shanghai because of the coronavirus. So I'm making content about this city and the beautiful side and the downside of this city. So hope you guys will enjoy my videos. Yes. Next.
Awesome. Awesome. So our second guest today is China Bill, and I've been looking forward to this, to have Bill on a live stream, and we talked about this before to have a live stream together. So Bill, why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers that might be unfamiliar with you?
Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Bill, regular dude in China, the most regular dude. So yeah, just trying to present the ordinary stuff here. So yeah, that's who I am. Nothing's really special. And appreciate that. Like, I am really excited to do this live streaming, and I mean, just thrilled to have this discussion with you and Mike. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we have to explain a little bit why Simon isn't on this today's stream. Zach, maybe
Yeah.
you can explain it.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, absolutely. So we had a little discussion earlier today, and Simon decided that it's not the right time for him to join us for this live stream, but he did promise that next time he's going to be on it. The actual reason why he is not here is some family issues that he had today, and he wants to take care of that. So we respect that, and we give 100% support to him when it comes to that. So family comes first. YouTube for most of us is just a hobby. So that's
right.
that's that. So I think the three of us can still discuss this topic and give good pointers and share our views of what's going on. So before we actually jump in, guys, I just want to tell all the viewers that this QR code here, if you would like to support the stream, you can 100% do it. Every single donation that comes through this QR code, we're going to split it 3 ways. We already agreed before the show that that's what we're going to do, because none of us are monetized, actually. So the best way to receive donations is through this QR code, which is a WeChat QR code. So if you want to donate, you can do it here, and we're going to split it 3 ways by the end of the show. So this is the proof that I'm not going to run away with the money.
Yeah, let's begin, Zach. You as an organizer, let's go with you.
Yeah, sure. So advantages, disadvantages in living in China. I mean, I'm a foreigner. I think I have a pretty nice life, but it's not always money and girls and booze and partying and all that sort of a stuff. I mean, there are obviously disadvantages as well. So we want to talk about that as well, because we want to show people what the real China is. I mean, we are all China content creators, and like you said, Bill, you are just a regular Chinese guy, and you want to show the regular life in China.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, the factor that inspired me to have this discussion with you guys is because a viewer of mine, an American viewer, she left a comment, and she's living in China as an expat, but because of COVID-19, she left, and she told me that she really wanted to go back to China because she has a really wonderful life in China. She's getting paid actually more than she's getting paid in the States, and she has health insurance here, and everything in China is just fine for her. Like, so I was trying to communicate with her. I was trying to tell her, yeah, like, it's great, but actually what you experience is not very representative of the life of ordinary people in China. So this is what I want to concentrate on today. So how do you say, Mike?
Yes, definitely. I mean, as a ordinary Chinese people living in China, it's still a very vague topic. It's really depending on which location you are located in. So the good side is, I think in China, everything. I mean, you have Taobao, you have like a lot of shops like open to the middle night, and the life is quite convenient. And but the downside is, I mean, the information to access the information is a little bit difficult for the people who wants the truth or the real information globally. So that's a very brief. But go back to the COVID-19 thing. I mean, still now in China, I heard a lot of my relatives, like older generation, they are talking about like how awesome China is to deal with the virus, and
Yes, that's
how
universal. Like all people around the world are saying that they think China handled it very good, and they want to look up to China to deal with it.
Yeah, then like yesterday I just talked to my neighbor, and I said because of the COVID-19 I'm stuck in Shanghai. I can't go back to Karlskrona, and the first sentence that he dropped to me is, you are lucky because you are now in China, and don't go back to Europe. These kind of things, I can't say it's wrong, but that's like overwhelmingly opinion towards to the virus stuffs, and which is the other countries are dealing with the virus in a very bad way, especially the US. But we, as Chinese, we control it, we resolve the majority of the issue, and now we are safe. So that's my words.
Yeah,
By the way,
absolutely.
blessings to the people in the States. I think that we can overcome it soon, very soon. And Zach, what's your perspective on this?
As in the US overcoming the virus.
Just the gist about like what Mike touched on just previously.
Well, I want to, carry on with the COVID thing a little bit, and just feed that narrative. If you like it. I mean, yeah, my parents are still in the UK. I still have friends in Europe as well, and the only safe country really is actually Hungary in Europe right now, because they have, I think the second lowest number of cases as we speak, and they also used measures like China did. Like, they locked down, places like, and they took like serious measures to prevent this virus from spreading. And if you look through the news, you can definitely see that Hungary is one of those places in Europe that controlled it very well. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, maybe we stop talking about the virus stuffs because it's a little bit.
Oops, Mike's.
Oh, we lost Mikey. But yeah,
We lost Mike.
what Mikey was saying is, yeah, we should probably stop talking about the virus. I should probably open my beer up. Let me get rid of the branding. There you go. So I'm drinking a Corona today for shits and giggles, because that's what I had at home. So cheers to you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? So advantages, disadvantages of living in China. Now, there are many things that we can say. What's an advantage? What's a disadvantage? So let's start off easy, and let's start from a foreigner's perspective.
Yes,
And
I'm really glad to hear that.
and I'm gonna say an advantage. My salary is so much better compared to a Chinese person's salary, and that is a huge advantage, because I can afford a better lifestyle. I can afford a lot more things, and if you look through my videos, you can see that I have a rather expensive car. I can afford more expensive things, and this is not to show off. This is to show you guys that how much better my life is compared to an average Chinese person's life, and that is an advantage that I have in China. And obviously, Bill, you're on the other side, the disadvantage side, and maybe you can talk about your new job, the one that you took recently, and dive into a few details regarding that one and how that is different compared to my lifestyle, for example.
Okay, so first of all, I do not mean any harms to the expats in China. In fact, I think there are a lot of very amazing people who just want to enjoy the life in China as a foreigner, as an expat. But the thing that I always want to express is that as an expat, as a foreigner, like actually living in China, there is a very good advantages to being an expat compared to being a Chinese person. So let's say like I have this audience who is from USA. She's been working in China. She told me that she actually makes more money in China as an English teacher than she makes in the States. And what I'm trying to tell her that actually like the life of ordinary Chinese people is kind of different because like ordinary people cannot make them much money without working really, really hard to be the top 5% of this population. And she was like, I don't think like China is that bad. I think like I make very decent money, more than I make in the States. I get health insurance. I got everything. So why China is so good to me? I think it's kind of weird. So this is the point that I always want to bring on. Is that actually being an expat and being a local Chinese is very different, economically speaking, because but there's a huge difference. Like let's say if you come to a country that speaks English, you can find a job in English teaching, which is quite easy. But if you come from a country that doesn't speak English, they probably will be kind of different. So yeah, that's what I want to present on. So those people, they think that they have a wonderful life in China. Everything here is safe and they can make good money in China. Just want to say like it's different for the ordinary Chinese people. Like this is a different picture. So what do you say, Mike?
Yes, if
No, we can't really hear Mike, can we?
Oh no, we lost Mike again.
We lost Mike again. Yeah, Mikey's got some internet issues. I don't know what's going on in Shanghai because I read the news the other day. They have 100% 5G coverage in Shanghai, but by the looks
Shanghai.
of it, the uptime is not really there, is it? We have Simon in the chat. Sorry, guys, couldn't make it this time. Yeah, Simon, we talked about you. We're gonna stop being friends with you from now on. So yeah, sorry, we are not friends anymore. Obviously, just joking. Personal things they come first. So that's totally fine. But yeah, we have Mikey back on another one. Hopefully you can join us with this one, maybe, possibly. Anyway, let's jump into a couple of comments. A very interesting one. I feel like foreigners who talk about the conveniences in China neglect to mention that much of that convenience is predicated on cheap labor, which causes struggles for those people. I mean, labor is cheap in China, isn't it? It like two-handed physical like work, like getting your car washed, for example. Those things are super cheap, and people doing it, they are getting paid very, very little. Do you agree with this, Bill?
Absolutely. Like, I think this is a really good question. And she said like many foreigners, they feel good about China. They feel like everything is awesome in China. Like stuff is cheap and they make good money. But one thing that some people neglected is that like this convenience is built on the let's say exploitation of some local Chinese people. Like you have this convenience is because some people are like sacrificing their labor very low cost for that. So like I think that we need to focus on this angle, this appetite. It's those people that are sacrificing their time, their labor for very cheap price to deliver this to you. I think this is something that's like some people have to recognize. Like, yes, you can feel good on your side, but like if you put yourself in the perspective of people who work to deliver that to you, that is kind of different from your country. Let's say if you are from a country that's quite developed and advanced, like UK and USA and those European countries, it's built on the like very cheap labors. So that's something that I really want to bring attention to the viewers of mine and of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's another one. So Fat Guy said advantages, safety in China.
Can you guys
Now,
hear me now?
absolutely,
Yes.
my man. Welcome
Yes.
back. So
Back, Mike.
so many China YouTubers did a video on this. How safe
Where
China is, how girls can walk around at night, and they're not going to get into troubles and all that sort of a stuff. And that's somewhat true, but
where where are we now? Are we still talking about to be a foreigner in China, the advantages?
well, I'm still a foreigner in China. I don't think I will ever become a Chinese.
Uh,
And that's going to be another thing that I will mention later on in the show, how that is a disadvantage for me. But for now, let's stick with this safety stuff. And, China is a safe country. I don't think there is a question about this. But there are certain things that people seem to ignore. And certain YouTubers talked about this. For example, pickpocketing is still a thing in big cities. And, the counter argument was, oh, what are they going to take from my pocket? My phone? Or what are they going to take from it? Well, yes, they can take your phone. I mean, these people, they are clever when it comes to, taking stuff out from your pocket. And, a phone can be very expensive. For example, a normal iPhone right now goes for like what, 3,000 RMBs, even a used one. So, if you sell it on the black market, that's a decent pay for someone who does pickpocketing as a living. I mean, the average wage in Jilin right now is about 4,000 RMB. So, if you think about it, you pickpocket 4 iPhones a month, you got a very decent salary. So, think about it this way. I mean, I'm not saying that, that's a huge thing in China, that everybody, does pickpocketing, but it is, it is happening. So it's something that shouldn't be ignored.
So, Mike, your perspective on this?
Let me finish my previous words about as a foreigner in China, the payment, etc. If you are English teacher, I think because of the huge demand of the English teacher in China, almost like everybody want to study English and be fluent in English, then the English teacher is a good job for the majority of you guys, especially your mother tongue is English. But if you are ordinary foreigner, you don't want to do like this kind of English job that everyone is flooding to do it in China. You want to start a business or something in here, especially for those like entrepreneurs. They already have a very good company maybe in Europe, because I know one French entrepreneur, and he was trying to set up a firm in Shanghai, and he did that, and he was doing kind of like a very special and sensitive domain, which is the airplane. So he was he was doing like airplane. It's called FedEx engine, which is to control the entire airplane system. But in China, it's quite difficult for them to be part of it, because all of our avic companies are controlled by the government, and it's quite sensitive to get started here. So he spent like almost 10 years to root in Shanghai and try to develop his connection and guanxi, etc. But so far he isn't very successful. I mean, for these are the people who has already had like a very rich family in Europe. He has almost has he has a castle in France. So I'm not talking about like ordinary people like you and me, but it's also very difficult to develop such a career in China, because the obstacles of the entries of this like high tech domain. So that's one point. For the another, what was that, Zach? What were we talking about?
So we're talking about safety in China and how that
Oh,
is an advantage basically, and
yeah, it did. Okay, so it is an advantage for sure. Like in the megacity, even in small city, you can get out like in the middle night. I don't think anyone will attack you. But in the Europe, it is maybe a little bit different, based on my experience. But my experience in Scandinavia countries, especially in Sweden or Norway or Finland, I can also say it's very safe. I mean, I can get out during the midnight, but there's no reason to get out in the midnight in Scandinavia countries because all the shops are almost closed. It's dark. But yeah, so I think I can sort of agree, but it's not applies to the like every city in China. You still got like a northern part of China. It's quite a little bit rough if you entering those like rough area with like gangsters, etc.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this one here? Unfortunately, an example of disadvantages are with both having school safety issues at times. Western countries shootings, so that's pointed at America. China, the knife attacks, the stabbings. Do you think that knife crimes are an issue in China, or is it a very unique thing? Do you think Chinese schools are safe?
I do think like crime issue is a very significant issue in China, because in China, though we do have these regulations to prevent gun violence, a lot of people still will use knife to commit some really atrocious crimes here. So actually, we have been seeing some really notorious cases on Chinese social media, like recently some people use a knife to murder a whole family. So like, to be honest, I think not crime issue, especially when it's committed in knife, is something that's worth a lot of attention. And we have a lot of like YouTubers who are from other countries who want to introduce China. They are posting content like, "Hey, China is the safest country in the world." I feel like I know like we do not have gun violence in China, but in terms of security, safety, we do have a lot of aspects to work on when it comes to crime issues, because like there's a lot of crime cases that's committed by knife and other stuff, and I won't go into detail with that. So Mike, what's your perspective on this issue?
I'm a little bit different as yours. I think those like knife attacking is very random and occasionally happened in the Chinese campus. I think the majority of the Chinese schools are very safe. I mean, I'm talking about my experience. I don't want to reflecting to entire China, but as I can see here in Shanghai, every school with like security guards and even the knife. Nowadays you need the ID card to be registered to buy the knives, to buy a machete or something. So you cannot buy this kind of weapons without identity. So I don't think it's a randomly happened in some other cities, etc. I can't deny that, but for me, I will not concern. This is a big issue. I'm more concerned about the brainwash system in the school, and so
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, like, because I work in a school right now, and I told you guys it's like a private public school. So it is technically a public school, and the safety measures in Chinese schools are very different. And some foreigners and some media outlets, they've been to like Xinjiang, and they showed schools having these metal detector gates. Now here's the thing: in Jilin, every single public school has the same metal detector thing. That there is, there's no exception. Every single school has it. So it's not just Xinjiang specific. So that's one narrative that, you know, those people trying to push. I do think that, you know, schools in China are generally safe. And you know, like Mikey said, it's very random. Like there is no, like, you know, specific area within China that, you know, that is concentrated with all these, like, you know, stabbings and knife crimes. It's very random. Last year in Jilin, there was a stabbing in a shopping mall between two sellers, and one stabbed the other one, and the lady died. That was totally random. Like nobody was expecting it. Then, you know, a few months ago, there was another stabbing somewhere down south because of a parent stabbed a boy in a school. So these things are very random. Like they don't, you know, specify in one area. They don't, you know, concentrate on one area, in my opinion. Let's read a few more comments here. Excuse me. I thought this chat was for 10 p.m. tonight. Silly me. It is 10 p.m. in China.
That's right.
All right, another one. Let's have a look. So there is someone here who's a little bit annoying, and I don't really want to bring him up, but I just kind of have to, like, just for the shits and giggles. Who is your favorite shill? I personally think Zack P is one of the best pro CCP shills. Guys, if anything, I am the other side. Actually, I am on the fence. You know, I am on the fence. Corey Prime in China said that I am on the fence. So I am not pro, not anti. I am none of this bullshit. I don't get involved in this. So get out.
You can only be pro in China. You can only be pro. No anti stuff. No. It's
Oh, yeah.
not gonna happen.
It's
I think that there was a specific question for myself.
for you from Fat Kai. Is this the one? If you're worried about brainwash, okay, you can go ahead, Mike, and answer this one then.
I mean, I spend like almost half of my how to call it, education period in China, and after the high school, I just entering a totally different education system. So my college was in a Singapore school, and my university degrees are got from the UK system and Australian universities. So I have the experience to a comparison between two systems. So I can tell you the Chinese system, it is a kind of brainwash and tell you like ultimate one answer for all the problem, which you have to obey the teacher, etc. So maybe my experience was a little bit old, because I studied in the school during the 80s and 90s. But yeah, I don't see a huge change. Maybe even it is more enhanced during the current nowadays. So that's my answer.
Absolutely. Another advantage, Fat Kite, thank you very much. You are very active in the chat, and we appreciate that. An advantage is transportation, and I 100% agree with this, but I think Bill can take this one away and explain it from his perspective why, you know, transportation is an advantage in China for everyone, for a foreigner, for a Chinese, for literally everyone.
In terms of transportation, actually, personally, I have only been to two countries, one United States, one China. I think the advantage in China is because we have this very rigorous control on your identity. So, like, basically, we can proceed everything with our WeChat or Alipay. So you can, let's say, if you want to buy a plane ticket, you can go to Alipay or WeChat Pay for that. If you want to buy a train ticket, you can go to Alipay and WeChat Pay for that. If you want to do anything, you can just go to those platforms and proceed to finish that. But like I remember when in US, you have to go to specific websites to go with it. So like this is kind of inconvenient if you are in a different country. But if you are in China, like everything is under the control, the big data and everything. Like it's just like you are being controlled, and everything like in some way can be easy for you because people have your stuff in their pocket. I would say that. So Mike, your perspective.
To be fair, I think in China the transportation system is low cost and well organized and efficient. I mean, to just tell the truth, I don't want to like totally bash in my own country, but this is what my experience is because I also traveled all around Europe from the northern part, Scandinavia country, down to the southern part, to Italy, to Spain, to many other countries in Europe. I mean, first, the cost to travel in Europe is really high. It's much way higher than here in China. And another thing is the efficiency. I mean, from my city, Karlskrona, I took like almost 3 hours to go to Copenhagen, which is almost just like a 250 kilometers away. In 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 China, with this like a 动车 or bullet train, you can go almost like within 1 hour. But I have to spend 3 hours on the road every time if I want to get out of my town to Copenhagen, because Copenhagen is kind of like a hub to fly to all the other countries in Europe. So from this perspective about the transportation, I'm quite positive, to be honest. And also the metro system, especially in the megacities, you can get around in very low cost, like 2 or 3 RMB, you go somewhere. But I mean, the metro system in the Europe cities like in Stockholm, like in Copenhagen. First, they don't have like such a complex web of the metro cover the entire city. Like they have like one or two metro or and so on. But here you got like almost covered everywhere. So I'm positive.
Absolutely. I have to agree with Mikey, and I just want to add a few things to it. So, in the UK, taxis are very expensive. One of my friends who lives in China, close to the Korean border, North Korean border, his parents are taxi drivers in the UK, and there is a massive difference, and that's just public transport. For example, the insurance costs in England, car insurance, for example, that's much higher as well. Train tickets in the UK are much higher as well, and they're always late. They always break down. There's always a train missing, and it's the same in Hungary as well. I spent some time in Hungary when I was a kid, and I used to take the bus, the train, the everything. And every single day there would be like, trains missing, buses missing, and, they would be late and they would be full, they would be dirty, they would be full of, homeless people and all of this, like, crap that, nobody wants to put up with. As in, you come to China, you take the bullet train, you don't see any homeless people on it. There's no homeless people on the bullet trains because they are not allowed on it, because you need an ID card to get onto the bullet train, for example. And it's in the underground, like the metro. If you take it in Beijing, you can see beggars, once in a while, but it's not an everyday thing. Well, as in, you go to the underground in London, for example, you can see beggars as you walk down the stairs. Like every 5 meters, there's people begging in the underground or next to the bus station, and that's something that is very different compared to China. So transportation, it is definitely an advantage, both in cost and in the level of service as well. So in my opinion, like, China is still a developing place, but the service itself is more professional, in my opinion, compared to the places that I've been in in Europe.
Yeah,
Now,
I had very bad experience about the train, and I was trying to catch a flight, and the train was delayed insanely, and I couldn't find the other routing. I have to grab a cab to go to the airport, and that was cost me almost like 2,000 Swedish crowns, which is insane. So anyway,
yeah, absolutely. So
Hey guys, I
let-
want to interrupt a bit. Hey Zach, I think your bots have a bit problem when it's making voice. It has kind of a buzz in it. So yeah, might want to adjust it. And I want to add when it comes to transportation. Yes, I absolutely agree with you guys. I think the transportation system in China is very efficient when it's compared with some countries, but actually, when it comes to low cost, let's say like the very like I don't know like the name in English, like the very fast train in China. Actually, for ordinary Chinese people, like though it's very good and efficient, but the price for ordinary Chinese people is kind of expensive, and it also applies to the plane ticket. I remember when I was living in the States, when I was trying to fly from Los Angeles to Denver, like the plane ticket price only cost me $150. But in China, if you want to fly such a long distance, it will cost you probably way more money. But when I say way more, I mean like it's just how much you make, your minimum wage, how many hours you put into work to earn this plane ticket compared to the minimum wage in the States, $10 an hour. So that's the point I want to express on. So actually you have to work harder to earn those stuff in China. Though it can be way more efficient, but it's understandable since this is a developing country. So yeah, that's the point I want to make.
Absolutely. So I'm just scrolling through the comments here, guys. So Sam said, I went to Tokyo earlier this year and its metro blew my mind. So, if you don't know, Tokyo is like, number one when it comes to like technology and, showing new stuff to people. So they are like, always ahead of everyone, like robots and all of that sort of stuff. But, Mikey, you're more experienced in this. So is Japan really that advanced, and are they really that much ahead of the game compared to others?
I mean, if you are from Shanghai, if you read Chinese, then if you go to Tokyo or go to Osaka, I don't think it's a big problem. It's just like similar system when you read those signs of the stops in Japanese. Literally, it's in kanji Chinese. But yeah, it's like uplifted version of our metro system. They have like a different company runs different lines rather than in China we have just the one company run all the routes. But for sure, Japan is more advanced than China, even than the most modern cities. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there is one here. This comment is rather interesting. So these guys are not pro or anti-China. They seem to try to fairly call balls and strikes. Yet we are not anti or pro-China. I mean, Bill,
China
Mike,
number one.
yeah, China number one. There you go. So now we are shills. So seriously, like let me address this phenomenon.
To blindly price China or to blindly blame China isn't a rational thing. We are just talking about the truth. Like something is far away from the truth, then I have to point it out to give another opinion, rather than like one-sided opinion all over the China YouTuber community, which is misinformation.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this pro and anti-China thing, it comes from one person and one person only. And he started, dividing the community and like, oh, you're pro-China, so you're with me. You're anti-China, so you can fuck off. So that started with someone that we're not gonna name, someone who's not supposed to be named on this stream, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It is supposed to be, a community that sticks together. It doesn't matter if we agree or disagree with something. And the reason why this happens is because some of these people within the community, they don't have the social skills to solve problems, to talk about their problems. They just turn around, they show their ass and be like, nope, I can't be asked. Sorry, I don't have the social skills. I'm retarded. I can't solve issues. And that's a very, very big problem within this community. But I don't want to waste too much time on this, and I don't think you guys should waste too much time on this either, unless you want to add something, very specific and very short.
Yeah,
I just want to see. Yeah, I just want to see all the China YouTubers get together to bring the real interesting content to the audience. Nothing more than that. I mean, the person that you are talking about, none of us in the community like that person, and who created such kind of confliction. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know who you are talking about. We all know who you are implying about, Mike. Zack and me, we all know who you are talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway. But
that's not what we are going to talk about today.
Absolutely. We don't want to waste time on this.
Yeah.
I'm retarded. Right. Anyway, so today's topic, like we said earlier, advantages and disadvantages in China as a Chinese national or a foreigner. Support the channel down here. WeChat, QR code. Send us money. We are poor. Go ahead, Mikey. Go ahead.
I can bring up another topic, which is the advantages that to be a Chinese in China, which is the family that support the parent generation support the kids, because I think in China the family spend all their money, all their resources to provision to the kids to have a good life, to have a good education. And even like a lot of parents spend their years of savings to help their kids to buy an apartment, because the apartment is too expensive. If you ask a young people just graduate from the university, they want to get married to afford a apartment, they can't. So without the parents' help, which is a huge chunk of money, I'm talking about like millions of RMB, that to provide to the children, I think this is quite positive side of our country.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. Some really nice comments, people appreciating that, we are hosting this little live session. I mean, it took us some organizing. Like, we've been talking about this, having this stream for a few weeks now. Bill,
Zack is a really amazing organizer in this live streaming. So yeah, guys, support Zack.
I'm trying, guys. But yeah, loads of people are watching us today. So thank you very much to every single one of you. We really appreciate every single one of you. There are loads of questions, loads of comments, and it's a little bit overwhelming in my opinion. But Bill, why don't we talk about some advantages in China from a Chinese side? What is an advantage that you have but I don't? Is there anything like that in China that is an advantage for you, but it's a disadvantage for me?
I have to try to think about that. Advantage for me. Oh, okay, I come with one, but it's kind of unfair. So I think the one is that I can speak Chinese, but you are probably not really good at Chinese, because I heard a very interesting comment from a viewer of mine. She said, like, when she was an expat in China, and she said when she come to shop in China, try to buy groceries, the cashier will always told her, "I'm sorry, my English is not good." But in her hometown, in her own country, America, if someone who doesn't speak English or speak very poor English try to buy some stuff, it's very possible that someone will say, "This is America, speak English." Right? So like in China, like you don't have to worry about language stuff. Also, I think I have touch on the opposite topic, but just this what comes to my mind. So the advantage, I guess, my language they can count, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
too, yeah. Mike, your
Yeah.
perspective, the advantage in China as a Chinese person compared to foreigner.
Yeah,
Mike,
it is depending on the intention that if you want to practice your language or not. I mean, if you are lazy, then if you come to China, everyone speak more or less English towards you. They don't expect that you speak our Chinese language. Maybe it's okay for the majority. I mean, I don't know. This
Yeah.
is this is a two-sided topic. I mean, I love to speak English actually because I said English helped me to read more information, to get more information source, and also helped me to think in a different way. So I mean, if you are really intend to practice your language, then maybe another like environment or pushing you to be fluent in another language is way better. But I was also like a little bit concerned about my language when I first get overseas. But yeah, I did all this anyway.
Yeah. I
Zach?
think Jack kind of solved this question or riddle that I asked you, Bill. And it's Chinese citizenship. That is one thing that I will probably never get, because the process of getting it is very strict, and you need to jump through a lot of hoops as a foreigner.
it's true. It's true.
And even if you get like a permanent residence, like you won't actually get a Chinese passport. Like you're never gonna be Chinese, and that is a disadvantage. Like, okay, there are things that are going against having a Chinese passport, but generally speaking, that is a disadvantage in my opinion. Not having a Chinese
Hey.
citizenship.
Hey Zach, in terms of citizenship, I want to add some substance. So let's say like China is a country that only adopts one citizenship, which means that you can only be a citizen of one country. Either you are Chinese or you are an UK citizens or USA citizens. So like I don't really think like the aspects in China would try to acquire the Chinese citizenship, which legally means that they will have to give up their original citizenship. So this is my perspective. I think like people will not really try to acquire Chinese citizenship because like the utmost thing that they want to acquire is like permanent residentship in China. So do you agree, Mike?
Sorry, I was reply to my subscriber. Maybe Zach, you can carry on.
Yeah. So what Bill just said. Yeah, you need to give up if you are, let's say, an American citizen, and if you want to come into China and get the Chinese citizenship, you need to give up your American one. But if you're a Chinese person going out and getting an American one, and when you come back, you need to give up your Chinese one.
Yeah,
and a friend of mine had this issue, and she lived in Canada for a very, very, very long time. And she had the Canadian passport. She is a Canadian citizen now. So she had to give up the Chinese one. And it's a really weird situation, because she was born in China. She is Chinese. And, when she came back to her own country, her own home country, she had to apply for a visa to get back home. And that was so weird for me. Like, I never really understood this this thing, and it was just really weird in my opinion.
It's
Yeah.
an old way of thinking. Rather be on our side, or we kick you out. I
Yeah.
mean, to have a Chinese nationality, the downside to have a Chinese nationality is it doesn't give you a lot of free countries to travel. You need this and that to financial report to prove your financial status to go to Japan. You cannot go to Europe without like a deposit in your
Oh,
Mikey's gone
lost
again.
Mike again.
There
I
you
think
go.
like
So
Mike brought up a
yeah,
good point.
yeah,
One disadvantage of being a Chinese citizen is that when you want to travel to other countries, you have to prove the authorities that you have good financial status. Like if you cannot prove that you are rich in China, like your visa will not be approved when you want to travel. So that's a big issue. But like if you're a foreigner and you want to travel to China or live in China, I don't think there will be a big issue. Like this is a very stark advantage for foreigner and a disadvantage for Chinese. Zach.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, to give up Chinese citizenship, which is also harmful because uh, no majority of the families are in China, so you need to come back to apply a visa, and also we paid a lot of social stuffs and like your social insurance, your whatever real estate, whatever it is. Then if you lose
Hey,
your national
oops.
identity, then it's very difficult for
Why
you
there's
to
no
do this.
audio? Did we lose Zach?
No,
No,
I'm
no,
still
no.
here, man.
No, Zach is
Okay,
here.
okay.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, it's a really hard question to think about for Chinese
Zach
person,
is working
especially.
hard to go through the comments. Shout out to Zach.
All right. So there is a question here from Corey from Prime in China. Zach, would you give up the citizenship to gain Chinese citizenship? Short answer, no, I wouldn't.
Anyone?
No disrespect to you guys, but I wouldn't. I have a passport that is very powerful, and 95% of the countries I can just walk in. Why would I give up that one?
That's very
I mean,
true. Oh,
so China is a great country. I love living here. I love my life here, but because I'm not getting anything from it, I'm actually losing things. Why would I do that? And I think that is a very logical decision and answer. Jack Black said would love Chinese citizenship or a road open to it at least. We just talked about this. You want to get a Chinese citizenship, you need to give up your other one. You're only Chinese on paper. You're nothing else, just Chinese. And if you want to go to other countries, you need to go through the visa process all the time, almost every single country, except all like Soviet countries, for example. You don't really need to do it for that one. But any other country, you need to go through the visa process. Show that you are financially stable, show that you're a good citizen, show that you don't have any criminal history. You need to show all of these things. So it's not, in my opinion, at the moment, it's not worth it.
You can go to
I
Serbia.
agree with you, Zach. I agree with you.
Yeah, you can go to Serbia without a check if you want.
Yeah,
Like
and
actually,
that,
there's a lot of Chinese citizens. They are immigrating to other countries, but when they make that choice, that means that they are giving up their Chinese citizenship. So when there's a lot of successful Chinese people are making that decision, I think the answer is quite clear. Will you give up your citizenship for Chinese citizenship? I think the vast majority of people will not make that choice. That's right.
come on, Mikey, you work for an IT company, still on a dial-up internet? Are you?
I don't know. Now I'm using ADSL, but I don't know why the connection is so
Oh,
unstable today. It was
I lost
okay in
my
the morning.
hand in the
Uh,
audio part.
All right. Next one. Discrimination in China. A very controversial topic,
Yes,
especially
I
if you're
think
a
like
Wumao.
discrimination in China is quite controversial and weird. So Zach, let me know your feelings about this topic.
So I told
Discrimination.
you guys that I have a story that I want to tell you,
Yeah.
and it's not a good story. It's actually very disturbing. So as some of you know, I'm talking to you, Bill and Mikey. Some of you know that there is a bar in Jilin that we have two Mikeys. So there is a bar in Jilin that I'm somewhat involved in, and I was there the other day, and a friend of mine from Uganda, he came to the bar. So he is an African person, which means his skin color is black. There's nothing racist about that, so don't see anything into it. I'm talking to the live chat because they're gonna say, "Oh, Zack P is a racist now." So my friend from Uganda, he came into the bar, and I gave him a drink. I made him an old fashioned, which is a very typical cocktail in Jilin. Everybody knows it and everybody loves it. So I gave him an old fashioned in a cup that belonged to the owner of the place. And once my friend finished drinking this cup, he gave it back to me, and I washed it like we normally do it in a bar. Just rinse it with hot water, a bit of soap and everything. Put it on the drying rack. That's it. Job done. And then the boss, came around and he's like, no, this is my cup, and he started washing it. Like he washed it at least 3 times with like boiling water. Then he started using like the sanitizer, like spraying it and everything. And keep in mind that in this bar, we never do that. Never, ever, ever, ever. I used his cup before, I used his glass before, and he never did it to me. But he did it to a black person. So, in my opinion, that was very racist, and I was very upset. And I told him, listen,
very
I'm
bad.
not going to be part of this. Go and fuck yourself. I'm not dealing with racist people. I've dealt with racism, all my life. When I moved from Hungary to England and I was playing football, every single weekend I was dealing with racism. People would call me like, a dirty immigrant, a shitty Eastern European people, and all of these things. And I was dealing with this every single week when I was playing football. And football was a very big part of my life, and every single week I was dealing with this. And I totally understand how my friend felt at that moment, because he witnessed it with his own 2 eyes, and it is disgusting. And that is something that is in China, and it's happening in China because they are not aware of racism. They think, in people in China, they think that racism is a Western phenomenon, that it's only happening in China, and everybody in China is like, very friendly and welcoming. But that's not the case most of the time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Zach. I think racism is an issue in China, and people are not taking it very seriously because there's very little um, foreigners in China, and when there's very little people, like their voice is quite mm, low. I'm trying. So like people are not bringing this issue up, but as a Chinese person, I do really perceive the racism here, especially towards people that are not Chinese, black people, white people. When I go on Chinese social media, I see a lot of people like making very offensive remarks to other races, and like people are not condemning this behavior because in China we do not have this like political correctness in here. So people are just not taking this racism seriously. I think that's true in China because like there's very little foreigners, people with colors here. Do you agree, Mike? Do you think like we have racism here?
I think from history, like in the Chinese history, we see all the person or people from outside of China are we discriminate them in the history. We call them like manyi, like the savages. Because the ancient Chinese see themselves as like centric the central kingdom. So everyone come from like a Muslim country. We discriminate them, and we only think our civilization is the best over the world. So this is from the history. But go back, come back to the recent stuff. That I think nowadays the people, the majority of the people in this country has no sense about the racism. They speak like you, oh, you are too black, or your skin is too dark, openly in public, and they don't see it's a improper thing. It might harmful or hurt the others. So that's the situation here. But in the other hand, we do have like discrimination. I can't call it racism, because in China it's the similar race, which is the Asians or the Han Chinese. But we do have discriminations all over this country, that people discriminate people from the other province and etc. So this is the issue. I mean, yeah, it can be talk for day long.
Yeah, the thing is, like with racism in China, like they are very straight up. Like they see someone from Africa or just a black person, and they just point out, oh, hey Ren, hey Ren.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's so like they're so straight up and so obvious about it. Like
that's why Randy Flagg always talking about the racism issue, because I think he had some kind of bad experience in Shanghai. Actually, this is a international modern city. You still experience the racism, so it is an issue of our country.
Yeah, but see that's the thing. Like the in my opinion, the biggest problem is that some people don't understand the concept behind racism and what is racism, so they unknowingly doing it. For example, like this guy in the bar, the owner of the bar, he thought that this is just a normal thing because black people they might be spreading diseases or things like that, because that's what they've been told, that black people are bad or foreigners are here to be sex pacts, because there is a narrative that someone pushes or something pushes, and it reaches a very like wide audience, and that wide audience is just following it like they are sheep. But that's just my take on it. Obviously don't take my word for it, but that's how I see it, because people are not getting the education for this. I mean, even in the West, there's no real education for racism. I mean, we have political studies and all of these things, but you have the same thing in China. There are political studies in school, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know. Is that correct, or am I wrong with this one? Do you learn about politics in school?
Yes, you are correct. I mean, this is the thing that I feel so embarrassed and so bad about. Like when I see this kind of ignorant talking about racism without any shame in public. So, which means this country is still so far away from a civilized country. So, to to bring this topic up, I mean the mainstream media in this country should bring this up, but I have never seen it's a topic in the mainstream media in China. So yeah.
Absolutely. So there is James, and he had a very good comment here. Hotels not letting foreigners stay in is a problem. I've had this a few times, and I have to agree with this. This is something that is a disadvantage for me, but this is an advantage for you guys, because all around the world, doesn't matter where you go to the UK, you go to Germany, you go to Sweden, you go to Hungary, you guys can stay in any hotel that you want to. I come to China.
Objection. I have to share my experience on this.
Okay.
When I went to USA, the very first day I was trying to find a spot to sleep. And this hotel in Seattle, they will not accept me, even though I present the hostess with my passport. Say, nah, we cannot accept you with you being a foreigner, and just present your passport. So that's my experience. Like it's still an inconvenience for foreigners in the states if you stay in the hotels.
Okay, so I don't have any experience with the States, but I have, large amounts of experience regarding Europe and UK and the UK. So everywhere you go in Europe or the UK, you can stay in any hotel that you want. No one's gonna be like, "Oh, sorry, you can't stay here." Like that never happens. Like, that never happened to me. And I traveled around Europe, and at that time I only spoke 2 languages. And I never had that problem, even though they knew that I was a foreigner. Like, they saw my passport or my ID card, they knew that I was a foreigner, and never ever they told me like, sorry, no foreigners. Like, that never happened. In China, it happened several times, and the last time it happened was January. It was actually January, yeah, this January, when we went back to the UK, and we were staying in Beijing, close to the airport. We booked a hotel online, but it didn't say it accepts foreigners, but we did it through booking.com, the app, which is, foreign friendly as well. And, most hotels that are listed on there are foreign friendly. We went there, and about an hour later, after we checked in, they were like, no foreigners are allowed here. We're going to kick you out. And, we had to fight with them at 2 a.m. so they can pay for our, new hotel, because they accepted us. Then they were like, oh, actually, no foreigners are allowed. So we had to fight with them, and they were like, oh, we're going to call the police on you. We're going to get you kicked out. We're going to get this Lawai deported and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, just go and fuck yourself, honestly. Like, there's kind of bullshit. And, I explained it to them. Well, it wasn't me fully explaining things. It was me and my wife explaining it to them that, you go to the UK as a Chinese person, we're going to accept you. You can go into any hotel, any lodge. We're going to take you there. And we're not going to be like, oh, you're Chinese, you cannot come in. We don't do that. Like, we don't do that. We accept people. And, that is a disadvantage as a foreigner for sure in China.
I think, Zach, it's not that the hotel subjectively reject you. It is the hotel that they don't have the license to serve to the foreigners, because in China, you only have the government authority approve the hotel that can allow the foreigners to stay. For the others, they cannot serve to foreigners. They don't have a license to do that. So this might be why they reject you. I don't know. It should check their commercial license, etc. But this is the information for you. I mean, yes, I agree with you. In UK or in any European country, I have never experienced you are fucking Asian Chinese, you cannot stay in my hotel and kick you out. This would never happen. I think this is my words.
So they said in the UK they will let you, and they just won't say anything bad about you in your face. I have to agree with that, though. Like, I said that we're gonna accept everyone in hotels in the UK, but we are very bitchy about this. Like, we're gonna be like, oh, look, there's a Chinese couple or there's an Asian couple, and I worked in hospitality, so I know what people are like. So yeah, I have to agree with that. Like, people talk shit behind your back sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah, everybody does it. Like, it's not country specific. I think they might be doing it in China as well. I know they do it in Hungary because I understand the language. Yeah, I think it's universal. Absolutely.
For my experience, I lived many hotels all around Europe. I mean, as a Chinese, I mean, we just do like to behave as a civilized person to live in the hotel. Then we give a good imagination, and we don't crap things like to rush into the buffet and to rub those salmon fish food. And if you leave a lot of food on table, then that's a bad imagination. But yes, I mean it happens everywhere. People talk shit behind you, but so what? You still need to do your stuffs and carry on to travel with a relatively nice mood, right?
Absolutely. Guys, do you want to hold the stream for about a couple of minutes? I'm just going to grab another beer because I only brought one in.
Okay, no problem.
You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna be the Guelo 60 of the stream. I'm gonna get wasted and I'm gonna chat shit.
Okay, speaking of Guila 60, I actually
No,
noticed
no.
there
Please
is a
don't
Guila
mention
60 commenter in this streaming.
that.
So, Mike,
I think
what's your
I think
comment to him?
I think
I know
that's
you
a
love
fake
Guila.
one. Uh, yeah, I can talk about it. I don't censorship myself because I was a subscriber of Gridlock 60. I enjoyed his video for quite a long time. I mean, before he ran into this uh, stupid shell work and price unreasonable things every day, I was watching his video. But in one day or some of the day, like I suddenly realized this one is is really crap. He talked about the shit about the country. He didn't give the very authentic and truth of the country, so I unsubscribed. That's all. I mean, personally, I don't know him in real life, so I don't have a problem with you. So I just made like one or two video about him, and that's all. I would never make more videos about him, and he can do whatever he wants, and that's it.
Okay, hey Zach, I noticed that Guila 16 actually left a comment say, "Hey Mike, come to Nanjing, we can have a few beers." I don't know if that's a real Guila 16 or counterfeit.
I think he means Nanning. I mean, personally,
Oh, Nanning. That's right.
I haven't been to Guangxi province, but it is a good invitation. If this is a real Guilao 60, I'll take the invitation. I will go there. I mean, I don't. But I mean, our subscribers are quite different, so I will not make any video with him.
All right.
Okay, gotcha.
I am back and I got another Corona.
Okay, it's good to have it back.
Yay. Hashtag Corona.
Yeah, Corona.
Get
All right.
beer.
So what did I miss? Was there any interesting question? Interesting topic?
No, it was just about the person that we will not discuss later. So let's move on.
Oh, Playboy 60. Nice. Okay. Let's move on. You know, advantages, disadvantages. Still, this is the topic. That's what we're going to talk about. You know, we like to go down little rabbit holes, but we always, jump back up and we talk about the main topic today. So advantages, disadvantages, anything that you guys want to talk about specifically, or shall we pick something from the comments?
Okay, guys, I got one thing.
Oh, there you go.
You go first. You go first.
Okay, so I mean, for the expats, foreigners in China, maybe they found it's quite easy to find Chinese girls around them, and if you go to those pub street and you can know some pretty girls quite easily. Is this some kind of advantages for your foreigners come to China? I mean, maybe it's also happened in Thailand, other Southeastern Asia countries. But yeah, I mean, definitely as an expat, maybe it's a good romance that you experiencing here in China. What do you think about Bill?
Oh. You said I agree with you. I think it's easier for foreigners to get girls in China. That's a fact. And I want to share my personal experience. When I was in college, I have this college teacher from the UK. He was teaching English in my college, and I gotta say he gets girls. So he is someone who is over 40, and he is kind of out of shape. But like a lot of people think Chinese girls, they are just very curious about foreign men, and they want to have a connection with foreign men. So they want to just date foreigners, no matter how out of shape or like they just want to date foreigners no matter what. There's just no criteria. You have to look good, so it's very easy for foreigners to get girls in China. I think this is true. Do you agree, Zach?
Come on, dude. Everybody knows that you come here as a foreigner. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. I mean, even though we talked about, racism, it doesn't matter. If you're a foreigner, you are like a unique thing, and everybody is trying to get a piece of you. And like you said, Bill, girls are especially curious about foreign men. But if you flip it around, Chinese guys are not as curious about foreign girls. I think.
It's not the truth. I think.
Are you curious? So does that mean you're curious about foreign girls, Mikey?
Oh yes. Why not?
Wait. Before you answer, is your wife watching?
No. My wife isn't at home.
Okay.
But by nature, you mean? I mean, like different race, you probably will attract to each other because it's the difference and the different cultural background. And especially like somebody like me want to practice English, it's a good opportunity. Why not?
I mean, I somewhat agree with that. It just seems odd that why Chinese guys wouldn't be interested in foreign girls.
I think a lot of Chinese guys are really confused by the porno movie and the big penis things. I think it's forget it.
Yeah, I was about to say there are kids watching this live stream, Mikey. I mean, I didn't set up the age limit on this one. This is like for everyone kind of stream, so I don't think talking about
But this is a very typical perception of a Chinese man who has concern to date with like a Caucasian girl, especially. I mean, this is.
This says it all. The Prime in China comment says it all.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, I think we should move on. Back to normal dating. What Bill said. Absolutely, I think foreigners do have an advantage over Chinese guys. We're talking about the men's side for now because we are not girls, so we can't speak for them. But as guys, I think foreigners, they do have an advantage. Even when it comes to marriage, in China, if you want to marry a girl, you need to provide the house, you need to provide a car, a steady job, a steady income, and all of these things. And as a foreigner, that's not really a thing because they know that you come from a different country, and it's just not something that is required because
I mean,
as a foreigner, if you want to buy a house, it's very hard. If you want to buy a car, it's very hard.
Sorry, I say something. I mean,
sure.
For you are talking about the Chinese girls who can perceive they are looking for some new opportunities for their life because in China, those girls think like foreigners are richer than the ordinary Chinese. This is some kind of old mindset, but it is still going on. I mean, when I talk about those girls in the pub, etc., usually their family background isn't like the elite family. They are not like have a very rich home background because the upper class of the Chinese society are very self restricted about the marriage and who are they going to dating with, and it is usually and always the family. The rich family get married with rich family things. So the girls that you always found in those pubs, because they are from like a lower class of the families, so they are looking for some kind of new life, or they think if you come from USA, Canada, then they think you can bring them back to your original country to have a relatively good life over there rather than in China.
It's true. That's true.
All right, then let's move on. And we're also, coming up to the hour and a half mark. I think we can do another 20 minutes, guys. Are you happy to do another 20 minutes? Probably.
I think like 20 to 30 minutes will be fine. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of reaching the end of this topic. We talked about transportation. We just talked about dating as well. Safety and all of these things. So. We covered, quite a few things. So let's plug all the channels before we jump into the last, 15, 20 minutes. First things first, subscribe to Bill here. This guy, China Bill, super cool guy. Subscribe to Mikey as well down here, another super cool guy. Subscribe to me because I'm white. Support us through this WeChat pay link. It helps us out. We're going to split the money 3 ways, whatever we get. So far we got 0 yuan, so we are doing great. So we're going to split 0 3 ways, and we're going to break the universe.
I will donate you 50 RMB.
Yay! So you're going to lose money, but sure. All right, there you go. 666. Sorry, I can't bring up the comments. There you go. 666. Liu. All right, all right. Anything else that you guys want to add to this topic, or should we have a free talk? Also, Bill, you were supposed to bring on a guest. Is that still happening?
I don't. Let me check. So, yeah, I don't think that's happening. So the guest I'm trying to bring on is a viewer of mine, and I mentioned earlier, she's just an American citizen who comes to work in China, and she feels like life is wonderful here, and USA sucks. And the reason is because, like, in this pandemic, US really didn't do a good job, and China obviously contained COVID-19, early phase. And she just think like in China, she's having a wonderful life. She makes good money here. She has health insurance and all kinds of stuff, and he just think USA sucks. But what I am trying to communicate to her is that I completely agree with her perspective. I mean, being a US citizen who is teaching English in China, it can be quite easy, like compared to ordinary Chinese citizens. But one thing she got to understand is that there is a kind of big difference between the ordinary Chinese people, because like English teaching job for expat is pretty much like the top 5% of Chinese population. Most Chinese people cannot get paid like her and cannot get the treatment she gets. So that's what I'm trying to get. And I think like in this community, many foreigners in China, they are feeling that way. They feel like life is wonderful here, but it's different for Chinese citizens. As a matter of fact, like being an English teacher in China actually makes very decent money, like 5 times or 6 times more than a Chinese English teacher. So like this point, like many foreigners, they have this wonderful perception about China, but it's just not very representative of the big picture here. So this is my point.
Absolutely. I want to add to that one, because we talked about this, off camera, me and you, Bill, that you don't come from a rich family. Like, you are not a rich guy. And you talked about your background, and foreigners, they don't experience that. Like, they don't experience the life that you had before. When foreigners come to China, 99% of them, they're gonna have like a nice life, nice salary, nice experiences. I mean, obviously they get the few like bad ones, but that's everywhere. But they won't experience like what's it like to live on a countryside, to live in a village, to be a farmer's kid, for example. And that's why some YouTubers can be misleading, and that's why even my videos can be misleading sometimes, because I'm only showing things from my perspective. And sometimes people can misunderstand that one very much. Mikey, do you have anything to add to this one?
I mean, yeah, I agree what you are saying. To living in a foreign bubble in the mega city, especially Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, this is the majority things that the majority expect to do. And of course, they will give you some kind of positive, awesome life of them, because it is awesome for them. But it's unfair for the regular Chinese to struggle in their daily life. And when they enjoy the convenient, easy life in China, it's the ordinary Chinese people working day and night to enable that. But we fairly hear this kind of voice for those group of people. I mean, I said many times, I don't have any problem that you talking about awesome and bright side of China, but talking about something different also, then we have a whole picture of this country. That's it.
Absolutely. That's another one. Hey guys, what's your opinion on advantages, disadvantages in the medical side of things from both the Chinese medical clinics and foreign medical clinics? So, do you want me to start this one off?
Yes, absolutely. Zack, start.
So let's start with the UK. So NHS, free healthcare for basically everyone. As long as you have a little like medical card, which is free to get for almost anyone, there's free healthcare. So personally, I think the UK healthcare is a gift, and people should appreciate it. In China, the most expensive bill that I had was 800 RMB, if I remember correctly, and it wasn't a major thing. So for me, that's a bit pricey. So from a foreigner's perspective, clinics and treatment can be a little bit expensive, but that's why you get an insurance in China, medical insurance, which is actually not that expensive. If you get like an international one from the UK, it's about £20 a month. Last time I checked, and that was like a medium one. Like, it covers most things, but it doesn't cover like sports injuries and all that sort of stuff. So it's like a medium level one. For £20, I think that is a good thing, especially if you compare it to like America, where medical insurance can basically make you bankrupt sometimes if you live in a wrong area, or if your family has like history with diseases and illnesses. What do you guys think of healthcare in general?
Healthcare. I think China's healthcare is bad, but I know like U.S. healthcare is also bad. But I know one advantage U.S. healthcare has for its people is that when you cannot afford the medical bill, you can still get the treatment and you can pay the medical bills later when you recover and you can work. But one harsh aspect about China's medical system is that when you cannot afford it, you are not gonna get the treatment. Like, the hospital will not accept you if you cannot provide enough financial input into it. So that's one thing that I feel really bad about China's medical system. Mike, your input.
I think for the Chinese medical system is we don't have like enough good doctors for all the medical organizations, because people only trust like we call it 三甲医院. It's like how to call it in English? It's the top tiered hospitals in this country. People believe those hospitals. Like in Shanghai, we have like several or many these levels of hospital. So all the Chinese citizens from around Shanghai, they flood into Shanghai to get a proper medical treatment in those like top tiered medical organizations, which leads to, if you go to there, like you see ridiculously long queue waiting to payment or to see the doctor. You sit there for almost like half a day to get the access to speak to the doctor for only 5 or even more or 10 minutes. And I think those doctors, so they don't really understand every single patient uh, about their real situation. They treat you in a very similar pattern to let you go to do this check, go to do that check, and bring the check result to me. I have a look at that and give you the same treatment. So this is the issue of this country. It's not even like if you have a local community clinical that can treat the local people, and they don't have to like take a train for several hours to go to another city to get a proper treatment. This is something that I want to bring up for the Chinese medical system. But I think if efficiency wise, I mean our hospitals are okay. Like you can walk into those hospitals without any appointment. Now I think you need it, but everything is make online. But it's also very efficient. And back to the hospital in Sweden, I have to like call them 2 weeks advance. If I mean, it's not if it's not a urgent and emergency case. So yeah, that's basically what I can talk about the medical system.
Absolutely. So Robert said it's so expensive to go to a foreign hospital in China. You guys are Chinese, but I must ask, have you been to a foreign hospital in
No.
China I mean, yeah,
it's too expensive for ordinary Chinese. You need to pay like hundreds to have a diagnostic.
but I'm gonna burst some people's bubbles here. A foreign hospital in China, the only difference between a regular Chinese hospital and a foreign hospital is that the doctors, some of them, they can speak English. There's nothing else. There's no extra hocus pocus that you're gonna get treated like magically, like 1, 2, 3 done. There's no hocus pocus like that. They can speak a bit of English.
In the so-called foreign hospital, you don't have a lot of people over there, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like you said, because it can be expensive. So like regular Chinese people, like that make like 3,000-4,000 RMB a month. They won't go to a foreign hospital to pay like I don't know, like 1,000 RMB for treatment. Obviously, they won't go there. So that is an advantage of a foreign hospital in China, that you get treated faster and you can see a doctor faster. But generally, the service itself that you receive is not that much better. There's no like significant difference, in my opinion.
I think it is still a man-made bubble for the foreigners. Like because the government know, like if you ask people from like especially from USA or Canada, let you guys go to those Chinese hospitals, you guys get upset, right? you have to wait in the queue for a quite long time, and nobody speak English to you. So that's why they created this kind of hospital only for the foreign group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Rex is asking a question. Let's go through a couple of questions before we wrap this one up. So Rex is asking, what is the average salary in big cities like Shanghai? So let's do, let's compare it. What's an average salary for a Chinese person, and what's an average salary for a foreigner in Shanghai, for example?
This is quite. Yeah,
but
go
let's not. Oh, there you go. Mikey's gone. So let's not do, English teaching salaries, because that's not the right way to compare it. I mean, Shanghai is a big city. It's a very developed place, so that means there are more jobs there, and there are factories and places like that. So let's try to compare, like, management jobs and leader jobs and all of these things. So instead of doing English teaching, because that's very generic in my opinion. So Mikey, what would be the salary like for a person working in a factory, a shift leader, somebody that that is like a developer and leads like a shift of people, like, doing a specific task?
It's quite difficult because I can't find anyone around me doing this job. But I can give you some information. So if you are working in a global company like Microsoft or whatever it is, if you are a manager of the apartment, you can get around 25 to 35K a month, or even a little bit more. So these are the well-educated Chinese group, and they speak good English, and they graduated from the top university of this country. So more or less they are in this range. Maybe you can get like 50K, but yeah, it's by chance.
Yeah, but this is like, the top 1%, isn't it? Like,
yeah. So by average, if you are just an office clerk and you do your office job, I think the salary range is around 8K to 12K approximately. I can't give you a very accurate number, but this is what I heard the most around, like average people.
Absolutely. So I just want to give an example from my side. So in Changchun, they make Volkswagens. So there is like a factory and assembly place. And there are some foreigners working there, coming from Germany and the UK. And those foreigners, they usually make about 30 to 40K a month. And we're talking about like software developers and engineers and all of these people. So they make about 30 to 40K a month. And the Chinese counterparts, they make 10 to 15K. And that's from someone that I know that works at one of these factories. So it's almost double, if not more, for a foreigner to do the same job. And it's interesting, in my opinion, to
Hey,
see.
Zach, I have a few little questions for you. So, what if this phenomenon happens in your country? Let's say you are in UK, but working in UK, and there's a UK worker who is doing the same job, and there's an expat, let's say from India or from Korea, and they're doing the same job. And because they are expats doing the same work, that they get paid twice more salary than the local workers. What would you react to such a phenomenon? I'm interested.
See, it's a difficult one, because if you never experienced it, you can't really give a good answer to this one. Like in the UK, there is like a minimum wage. So I don't know what it is right now, £8 something, I think 8.20, 8.30, something like that. Somebody in the comment section can tell me what's the minimum wage in the UK right now. That's the minimum that everybody gets, and a lot of jobs are like that. But how would I feel if somebody comes in and does the same job and gets twice the money? I don't know. It would probably upset me. So that's one thing that I really cherish and appreciate in Chinese people, that they don't get upset about this. Like when it comes to English teaching as well, the Chinese teachers, they working 40, 50 hours a week, while as in a random foreigner works like 15 to 20 hours a week just teaching, monkeying around, and he makes 3, 4, 5 times as much. That's something that I really appreciate in Chinese people.
Bill, are you want to raise a topic that this is some kind of unfairness for the regular Chinese guy working, for the same thing but get less paid, or?
Actually, I think like I cannot really say that it's bad, because this is how it works in China. Like the system just gives foreigners better payment. I don't know why, but when I say this kind of comment, I do not mean harm's way to foreigners. I think when foreigners come to China, they just think like the life is wonderful here. There's nothing wrong with that. But like when like people, their salary discrepancy is so massive just because their nationality. I think that's very unfair. Like if you say like if you come from a country, you get paid 2 times more money or 1.5 times more money. I think that's very understandable. But 5 times more money, that's massive. And personally, I don't know how to justify this phenomenon. It's my feeling.
Yeah, I mean, there are some comments here that are saying if somebody comes in, and they bring a special skill that that is not available in a certain country, and they get paid more, I can live with that. I can accept that. But if somebody comes in and does the exact same job as what I'm doing, and they get double or triple or quadruple the amount of money, that is a problem, in my opinion. But if somebody comes in with a special skill that is very hard to get, and it is very hard to deliver, then I can understand that there is a difference between salaries. I don't know if you guys agree with this.
Yes,
I
I
agree.
totally agree. But I mean, I want to give you some kind of background about this motivation, because before the openness of the old before the 80s, before the open up of our border, our government want to attract the foreign investment come to this country. So you need to give the foreigners some kind of different rights to living here, rather than to how to say that, to give them like the life which is similar as the ordinary Chinese. Because if the government doing this way, nobody will come, right? Nobody will think it's a good place to go. So I think go back to 30 or 40 years ago, it was like this, to attract the foreign companies, to attract the foreigners, to bring technology, to bring capital, anything come to this country to develop our country. So, but I mean, by the time going, this can be like adjusted a little bit, but we don't see anything change the majority of this kind of situation. But maybe it's also not good for you, not good for Zack to change this kind of situation, right? You would not happy to see that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, personally, like, if let's say, I don't know, 5,000 RMB. They would change it to like 5,000 RMB, and everybody gets 5,000 RMB. Then I don't want to work and live here, because that's not good enough for me.
Yeah.
And it sounds bad. I know it sounds bad that it's not good enough for me. But if people come this far to try their luck, to have a better lifestyle, they somewhat deserve to be compensated for that effort. I mean, obviously you need to compensate people for their work, but you also need to take into account that these people, they come from very far, and they bring a skill. I mean, I'm not talking about the kindergarten teachers singing the ABC songs, because that's not a special skill. Like, whoever saying that that's a special skill is an idiot, in my opinion. That is not a special skill. A special skill is like an engineer, for example, from BMW or Jaguar, coming here and telling the Chinese engineers, like, we developed this new technology, and we are very happy to share it with you. There is an important skill, and that is something that
But I mean, Zach, so for those kind of like a very skilled person or well-educated person, they have already got everything good in their own country. So the motivation for them to move to China is very less, right?
It depends. I mean, if we are talking about like big companies like Volkswagen or BMW or Mercedes or these companies, these are international, like, brands. Like, you can find these everywhere. That's a little bit different. But if you're talking about little local brands, they're not going to have any interest in China, obviously. So that's very different. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I agree with that. For the international company, for those CEOs in China, I mean, they of course earn way more than their home country, and they got like allowance every day and compensations. I know someone. I was in Siemens before, and those guys from Germany, they compensate like 1,000 euro for a day in China, because it was concerned here in China. It was a relatively poor country back to 2000.
Absolutely. Matthew is asking, do you like cars, Zach? Absolutely. My latest video was about my own car in China. Bill, are you into cars much?
Nope, not my niche.
Should be. Dude, Chinese cars are legit. I have to say this. Like, I worked in in this industry for some time. I used to work for Jaguar and Land Rover, and I used to drive for them. And I'm very impressed with Chinese
cannot,
cars.
in China, you cannot modify your cars. Your car should be always look like when you buy it. You cannot make the appearance. You cannot make the appearance different.
Yeah, you can't go down the Fast and Furious road. You can't be the next Vin Diesel in China. So you can't say to people like, pop the hood. That's no dice. That's a no-go. So, but yeah, cars in China are definitely an interesting thing. I like cars in general, and generally I'm very impressed with Chinese cars. But Bill has been very quiet recently. So, Bill, please talk to the viewers, because me and Mikey were kind of, shut you out.
No, actually, it's because I do not have any input on those issues, because I don't know. So I'm really glad to listen to you guys talk about this stuff, because I do not have anything to say about this stuff. Don't know cars and don't know those high-tech stuff.
But then you can explain the regular, the regular views that you have regarding these subjects, because like you like to plug yourself that you're just a regular Chinese guy, living in China, but you still have an opinion and a view about things, right?
That's right. So car, I really don't know. So But
No,
a previous subject,
maybe this is the question for Bill. If you want to afford a car, is that cost like I don't know, years of savings to buy it?
I would say currently a couple years of saving to buy a car. Currently, yeah, kind of weird because we, in my short stay in the States, I remember a second-hand vehicle only costs a couple $1,000. But in China, if you want to buy a car, not that cheap. You're gonna work way more time to buy that car. So currently, I do not own a vehicle, and I do not plan to own a vehicle recently. So yeah, it's not on my list.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, in Shanghai, if you want to own a car, you need a plate. If you want to have a Shanghai plate, which is ridiculously expensive now, I think as well as in Beijing. Beijing, you do a draw the lottery or something. In Shanghai, you do a auction. So you hire some agent to do the auction for you, and you have to pay 10K for those companies. And for the plate itself, now it will cost you 90K RMB for each, etc. So it is some kind of expensive thing still in China, and you go to any public place, it will cost you a lot of parking fee. Sometimes it's like 10 RMB for 1 hour to park in the city center, and I usually drive to the company because we have free parking lot for the company employees. But sometimes if the parking lot is full, I have to pay it. It will cost me 10 yuan for 1 hour. So if I work 8 hours, then that will cost me almost 100 RMB for a day for parking. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to add my side of the story when it comes to getting a license plate in China. Also, we have Laowai 86 in the live
Yeah.
stream in the live chat. How you doing, Matt? He said he's going to catch up once we're finished. Feel free to do so, mate. Leave a comment and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a very glad to see Laowai 86 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though people
Shout
like
out
to
to
label
Laowai.
him as anti-China. He hates China. Which
No,
But you
this
can
is
speak awesome Chinese, so yeah, that's
this is
his
this
upside.
is something crap that I never believed. I mean they were in China. They tell the truth of China, and they did awesome trip all around this country, and they tell the facts. This is what I respect.
Absolutely. So there you go. That's coming from an actual Chinese person saying that Laowai 86 is not a shabby Laowai. He's a normal foreigner who traveled all around China and knows China. So, stop hating on him. Stop being a Wu Mao. That's that. Anyway, let me tell you guys the process of how to get a plate in Jilin. So in Shanghai, in Beijing, in big cities, it's very hard and it is very expensive. And like you said, Mikey, you actually need an agent to do it for you. While as in Jilin, where I live, you can just walk into this place and you can get the license plate by yourself on the same day. And there is no lottery. Like there is always a license plate available, and it's not as expensive as you would think it is. So it's like how China is different. Like it's so different. You travel like 500 kilometers north or south or west or east, and it's like you're in a different country because the laws and the regulations and the customs, they change so much. And that is another interesting thing about China, and that's why so many people have different views about it, because they only experienced one place and one place only, and they then they label the whole country as their experience. For example, they went to, I don't know, Sichuan, and they've experienced spicy food, and they've only spent like time in Sichuan, so they're gonna say like, oh, China has a lot of spicy food, but they've only been to Sichuan. So that's a little bit misleading in my opinion, and that's why I like to point out in my videos that this is just Jilin specific. This is only like northeast, because I know Harbin, like Heilongjiang province and Jilin province, because that's northeast. Like I can talk about those places because I've been there and I lived there, so I know those places a little bit, but I can't say what things are like in Beijing or what things are like in Sichuan, for example.
Yeah,
That's right. Zack is solid. Zack is solid and honest. I really appreciate that.
Historically, this like so-called mainland, it was separated into different countries, actually different kingdom, and every region has its own unique culture, etc. So yeah, to have a full picture, then you need to experience them all. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
it's 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 hours now. There is one thing that I wanted to leave until the end of the stream, and this is something that I wasn't sure if I should talk about, and it's regarding Serpents a Day and Laowai 86. Do you guys feel comfortable talking about this or not so much?
Personally, I prefer not to touch on them. Personally, I do not mean any harm's way. I just think it's kind of sensitive for we to discuss about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk about their topics and all that sort of stuff. It's more like the relation that we have.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't think they're bad persons. I think like, they're not bad persons. That's what I can say.
Yeah. Yeah. And
what I can say is I want to see the China YouTuber community is more like before the separates and get together and make good content and cooperated with each other without any issues, and that's all.
Yeah. So some people saying it's probably not a good idea to touch on it. When the time comes, I think you guys are going to find out what's going on. I don't have any hate for them. And I said this before during this stream that, the reason why there is, a misunderstanding between certain YouTubers is because some people, I'm not going to say names and I'm not going to indicate who they are. Some people, they don't have the social skills to solve issues and problems that come from making videos, and that is a fact. Like some people are just not capable of communicating and expressing themselves in a way that they can be understood properly. So it seems like you guys, Bill and Mikey, you guys know how to talk to people and you can address different kinds of people from different backgrounds, and that is great, and that's why I appreciate you guys. But there are certain people within this community who are just simply not capable of doing that, and they don't know how to talk to people. So instead what they do is do a 180 and just show their back to people. Do you agree or do you disagree with this one?
Absolutely agree with you, Zack. Absolutely.
I mean, we can move on, not stay in this topic too long. It's regardless to the information about China that we want to deliver.
Yeah, absolutely. All right then, guys. So 2 hours and 5 minutes. That was a good stream, a long stream as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it, talking about these things. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And yeah, I think that is about it. So let's plug our channels one last time. So let's start with Bill, because he is the youngest and he is the second smallest channel here.
All right, guys. This is Bill, a regular dude, and try to present this stuff in China with perspective of an ordinary Chinese student here. So yeah, if you're interested about the stuff in China and life in China, and you want to come to China, so you probably should come to check out my channel and learn the basic stuff here. And that's who I am. And Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I'm appreciated for everyone participated into today's stream, and the reason that I make this China channel, which is not to let people hate China. I want to use this channel to let the people all over the world to understand China without you know leaded by misinformation, and to look at China as a usual, ordinary country that you can find all over the world, and embrace the fabulous culture of our country. And that's it.
Absolutely. All right, then. So let me plug myself as the last person. So again, thank you so much for watching, guys. We really appreciate every single one of you that were here tonight or today, depends where you are. Obviously, if you want to check out my channel, you can do it down there in the description. You're going to find my link. Obviously, Simon couldn't join us today, but still go over to his channel. Awesome dude. You know, that is about it. If you want to donate to the channel, this is the last chance. The QR code here. And that is it. You know,
Okay,
there's not
and
much to
before we
say.
finish, I want to just
Yeah.
give a shout out to Zach for organizing this live streaming and do all those work. Really, really appreciate that and appreciate all of you guys who have joined this live streaming and interact with us. I think this is amazing, and I hope you have a good one. Yeah, this is my last statement.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. And
All right.
yeah, go over to everyone's channel, you know, subscribe to everyone, like their videos, watch their videos, leave a comment, leave a like, leave a share, all of those things. And we will see you guys next time. Goodbye.
See you guys next time.